Jim was unfolding slowly after work among friends with a drink in his hand. Told us a story from his early days. It was late on a Tuesday. He was translating Morse code. We seemed to do it was listening to your communication all across the globe. Petals unfurling in the yellow bar light. Jim's face lit up. Secret counting the tail of love. Coronal mass ejection. Coronal mass ejection. And the telegraph was king. Jimmy run a tight ship, he didn't take no shit. Kept the telegraph real clean. He took his hands off both the keys. Scratched his chin, looked up at the lights in the sky. Jim thought the heavens were on fire. Bathed in the light at a point of inflection. His life was flashing by before his eyes from the moment of inception. Petals unfurling in the yellow bar light. Jim's face lit up as he recounted the tale of love. Coronal mass ejection. Coronal mass ejection. Coronal mass ejection.
Man. So that was no, how about no? That was a song from my friend Corwin Bolt, his band the Rutabaga Blossoms. They put out this this EP, I don't know, like about a year ago, something like that. 2024, so actually 2 years ago. Dude, it is so good. Rutabaga Root Music Volume 2. It's so good. The whole thing is super good. Hot Dish, yeah, the first track is super good. Mallory's really great. Coronal Mass Ejection is like one of my favorite songs he's written. He's a friend of mine from around town, and he's just so good. He's so good. Anyway, it's not even that new of an album. I just listened to it before stream started, and I was like, dude, for the record, people got to know how good that shit is. But, yeah. Howdy. Got a couple of hours in between everything else I'm doing today, so I figured I'd do a little bit of streaming. We're on the last boss, so I think the idea right now is to just get the rest of the spy bots, so I can get the Rhino, because I want to use the Rhino before I fight the final boss. Yeah, we gotta get all of these fucking things. All these Zerp stones. Fuck my life. I really don't want to do that. because like some of them, one of them is on top of one of these buildings, and like I don't know how to get up there. It's bullshit. Okay, so I gotta go that way. We're on here? Yeah, okay. So, like, how do you land up here? Because if there's Zerp stones up here, right? Like, make it make sense. I don't understand. There has to be a landing somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Like, I've tried to, I swear I've tried to, like, crash into it before. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. See? Like... Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I really don't feel like going around looking for Zerp stones. That sounds like not fun. So we're gonna do something else. Where's the chat? There it is. Yeah, I think we're just going to abandon the idea of the spy bots because I really don't want to come back and do this. And if I'm not doing this one, then I may as well not do any of the other ones. So what else is there?
I've heard of a monk looking for Lombaxes on Savali. I wonder if Ratchet found him yet.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Hope Ratchet's staying out of trouble.
We'll level up some few more guns and then just do the final boss.
Take your time, sweetie.
22, holy shit. It's just all area of effect. Yeah. Yeah, I might as well. Because I'm going to be using that a lot.
I think you just turned a negatron into a positron. Enhancements incoming.
What else? What else? Yeah, we got most of... Yeah, let's just start maxing all the super awesome guns.
You already made that upgrade, silly.
Awesome, yeah. I'll do this one then. Speed. Is there one that, like, makes them last longer? Nope. Radius. So these are all radius, and this is all power. Damage. Yeah, let's do all these. Let's just make it as powerful as I can. Oh, I already did. Guess now we'll do the radius.
You
Boom.
all come back real soon.
Alright, what do I gotta do here? Oh, the Lombax lore. How many more do I have? 'Cause I think I've done like 7 or 8. Oh. Oh. I never saw that there. Dude, I just did so much of this Lombax lore stuff yesterday, and it was not... I don't know. I guess I'll see how much I have left. There's quite a few stones here, so... Yeah, that just does not sound fun either, honestly. Looking for that, because that's what I did yesterday on stream, was just look for those things, and it was just not fun to tall. So I think I'm just going to go with my gut, and we're just going to wing it. We'll go to the stadium and see what else we can maybe try and do there. But honestly, a CBA doing all that other shit. Sorry. Well, I just upgraded everything from her.
Thanks for coming to Zerky.
Oh yeah, this will be nice because then I can upgrade weapons too. Yeah, literally, yeah. These agents are so overpowered. Look at that. I keep walking around looking for, like, enemies. I'm like, oh. Because my Doom boss just fucking eat them up. Holy shit. go, a lot of them. I'm about to die. Damn. Yeah, that's super easy if you just use the bots the whole time. Oh my god. Money. Fight with randomized weapons. I bet this one's probably pretty easy too. And this is a situation that you really want to then have upgraded everything. Yeah, the Doom bots. Yeah, throw as many of these as possible, and then they just stay here, right? Fuck yeah, they do. Dude, yeah, an army of Doombots, this whole thing is over. I won't even be able to get to another weapon because it will just... They will kill them so fast that I'll never get a kill with this. Damn, yeah, they just carry it so good. Oops. Oh boy. Oh, damn it. Damn, so this one's actually kind of hard. Because if you get something like that, you're screwed. All your weapons kind of have to be at a high level, or else if you get something that you're not that highly ranked in, then you just get destroyed. Yeah, like these are level 1. I've never ever used these. I guess your wrench is your friend. Yeah, you just can't really do close combat or else you get... Yep. That's what I need. Easy. What is the gold reward? Better be not be a spy bot. Okay, there is something else. The Headhunter. That is a level 1 weapon for me. Oh, wow, it's a 2-shot on these things. That's nice. Wow, that one was piss easy. That must be... That's I've never even shot that gun before. That's how strong that gun is. It just... It's a 2-shot with no upgrades. I bet if you upgrade it, everything's 1 shot. Okay, I need more help. Oh, why did I do that? Didn't mean to do that. I have to throw something. What? Probably gonna lose this one. Yep. Right here. Yeah. Need to start using kinds of guns. Nice. Oh, good. A spy bot that I'm definitely not going to get the rest of. Yeah, what's the last one? What do you get? A helmet? Defeat the returning foes. Oh, is it gonna be like all the bosses? Oh god!
Another cool scar?
Oh, fuck. Dude, I should have got that one.
Little Zircon brings heartwarming and blood-gushing redemption arcs.
Yeah, so let's just start out with,
Welcome back, Skolo.
like, all the big hitting weapons. And just get through this as soon as possible and then use the little guys on, like, Sue or something else. Victoria. That was actually piss easy. Actually, it was not that difficult at all. Carbonox, is that XP? Bolts gained. Guess I should do this since we're going into the last one, basically. The last fight. Yeah, let's do the one that's damage reducing since I don't really need any more bolts. And then we'll go out and buy everything from what's their face, and then go do the final boss.
Let us go. Let this zircon make you a deal.
Yep. 22 rare titanium. Should spend those. 177,000. Yeah, let's just buy everything in the store. Because we can. Alright,
That one is
ones we
just
use all the
begging
time
for an
first.
upgrade.
Yeah. Man, yeah, the ricochet is garbage. If it's gonna be any good, it's just gotta be, I'm gonna max it out.
Oh my stars! That is a good one.
That's actually something you should get early on. It's fine. Yep.
Come on back for upgrades when you level that up.
Oh, yeah. Definitely gotta do some of these. I actually probably should have done more of these. Fires faster whenever you targets back. So either more CC or more damage, basically. Well, in this last one, I bet that there's not going to be much use for CC. So let's do damage. Nice. That's it.
Sweet thing.
Probably never going to use those other guns.
Hey, Phantom. Thanks. And pause. So how do we find the Emperor?
Okay, okay.
Let's
We
do
have
it.
to draw him out. So I was thinking I'd disguise myself as a robot, but with a really big.
A really big what?
Do you know what that sound is? Listen closely. Is it fear? Hope? The slow inevitability of death? No, it's me. Winning.
What else is new, you say? Oh, quite right. But you are only a part of one dimension. What about the rest?
Maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but I think everyone deserves a little subjugation.
You know, equity. I actually hear him
To
out.
celebrate such a momentous occasion, I'd like to honor the good doctor who inspired this journey in the first place. By invading his home dimension personally.
What?
My first stop, Megalopolis. Or, as I like to think of it, New Nefarious City.
Well, shit.
When do we leave?
Oh, all the friends from the journey. See, it hits all the beats. This game is so good. It's simple. It's easy. You don't have to think very hard about it.
Right now.
That's right. That was a good scene. Easy.
Are we home? I am afraid so.
The Emperor is truly turning our dimension into his own.
Nefarious is just up ahead. If you guys distract him, I can try and grab the Dimensionator.
Oh, yeah, any rare titanium?
Meet you there.
No. Oh wait, they're on our side. Go!
Hear that, pal? Take out some snipers. Rivet, how's it looking? There.
Not great, but I'm with. We got you covered. Hurry and get that Dimensionator.
Nefariouses are just up ahead.
There is one more sniper.
All right. Looks like this guy's clear of snipers. Let's move.
You are the heroes of this dimension?
That's right.
It's hilarious.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
Lucky last time, Nefarious. Is.
This calls for a special sort of annihilation. I've been looking for an excuse to wear my new suit.
Where did he go? What's your move, Nefarious? Is that a rift? Or...
Oh!
We need your help. Nefarious just...
Holy shit. Oh, it's simply just not fair. Save those.
We have to fight this thing! Fire at those monitors!
Rivet, you will never guess!
Quantum? What are...
We've got a plan. Just hold them off a little longer.
Right! Sure!
What do you think of my new look? I call it my power suit. I would...
It's not doing any damage.
break it out.
I guess your funeral's as good a time as any! Come on! Just have to weaken his stupid, power suit.
You really think you stand a chance? There is a battle to be won!
You've got this, Quantum.
Emperor Nefarious, your campaign of destruction, cruelty, and wanton snobbery is over! How's that?
That's right.
Goosebumps.
You nailed it. Now jump.
Good, now they can endlessly suck each other's dicks. Quantum and Cork.
You.
Yep, it's just gonna keep giving me ammo. I'm gonna keep abusing it. Now we'll throw a couple of these guys down. And a couple of these.
This is not good. Everyone, shoot those monitors! Don't let them distract you.
Keep firing at the monitors.
Okay?
Yep, it's just fighting enough. Various the size of his ego.
We're getting close. Hang in there.
Keep firing, Ratchet.
You heard him, everyone. You're looking hurt, Nefarious!
Not even a candle against the battles I have won. Countless victories. Your dimension will not in my total face.
Keep shooting! We can't stop now! Ratchet!
Ratchet! Gary and the monks think they can help! Get as close to Nefarious as you can! I'll draw fire!
Over here! I can get you into Nefarious's heart! As in the robot's heart.
Thank you!
There, the heart. If we destroy it, we can take down his mech entirely.
It's working!
Firing Ratchet.
That it?
Gary, I could use an exit!
Ratchet! Clank!
Looks like it.
Bring that throne to the other side of the city! Hold them off as long as you can!
You think you can defeat me? I will bring in all of my armies, all of my followers. You will bow before me.
Oh boy. He's just gonna start firing infinitely.
Destroy the dimensions!
Yep.
The
So there's more? Sure is. Oh!
You were right. I cannot run away anymore. I can't let you do this.
Look at that. Everybody's storyline gets to be wrapped up.
I will hold back his army. Take him down.
So there is a fight as Rivet too.
Do not stop. I will hold him back as long as I can.
They all love me.
Let's throw out the tertiaries first.
Love me.
Hup.
I am the destined emperor of this
Hup.
dimension. Of
Oh.
every dimension.
Hup. Hup. Just throw all of them out. And then start some fungals. Hup. And then finally, the Destructobots. And some of these two.
This is near over.
And let's do Peacemaker.
Defeated me before, and this time
Oh.
will be no different.
Enough, Nefarious! You're tearing reality apart if you don't stop!
Thankless,
Oh, come on.
dimensions are collapsing. Oh, how could I?
You're done for, Nefarious! Everyone can finally see you for what you really are!
Come, my troopers. Let's show them who I really am.
Kid, I could use a hand!
After all this time, just to betray your emperor, KT-7416.
My name is and you are not my emperor!
Oh, Rivet and Beard.
Oh, he's gonna kill me.
Charming.
Maybe if he gets electrocuted. Okay, it's working. Damn, I have to learn how to avoid the punch.
Heavy incoming!
Oh man, I can't avoid the punch. The 1-2 punch. Ow! Stop it!
You all love me. I am the destined emperor of this dimension. Of every dimension. This isn't near over. You've never defeated me before, and this time will be no different.
Enough, Nefarious! You're tearing reality apart if you don't stop!
Oh, come on, that's bullshit.
Uninspiring dimensions are collapsing. Oh. How could I?
Oh, that's bullshit.
You're done for, Nefarious! Now everyone can finally see you for what you really are!
Come, my troopers. Let's show them who I really am.
Kid, I could use a hand! Thanks for the save! My name is...
Oi, cunt!
You are not my emperor!
Oh,
How do you avoid that motherfucking punch? You asshole.
Destroy the rebel warbot! Do not let it near me!
Kid! Heavy incoming!
Eliminate them! Now! Now! Now!
More troopers flanking! Wipe them out together! Let's show them how it's done!
I think that's it. God damn it. Yeah.
Where are my troopers? Come, my loyalists! Every one of you! Come together to fight for your beloved Emperor!
Yeah, I need health.
No! No one?
Nope!
Enough! I will collapse every dimension!
Oh boy.
Nothing!
This is the part where you lose!
Yeah. Girl power.
You really thought you had me? Get off of
Hell
me,
yeah.
you loathsome Please, we can win this together.
What do you know about winning?
You two really are a couple of hot shots.
Look who's talking.
Now all the dimensions
Ready
will
to
start to fit.
fix this, pal?
Oh, okay.
I
He's
would
going to.
love nothing more.
Hey, I'm sorry for what I said before. You're my friend.
Oh.
Thank you. For coming back. Team? Team.
I guess it's time to go home, huh?
Yeah. Our dimension could use a couple heroes right about now.
Well, how would you two feel about making a pit stop on the way?
Where are we headed?
I think you know.
Is that?
How sweet. Well, that's nice. Yeah, I think this was a great game. This was super fun. It was super nostalgic. It's one of those games, I remember this back in the day too. I played this game and knowing that it wasn't the hardest game in the world to beat. but it's just kind of unique and it's simple. This one is a great story. They just hit all the beats, especially everybody coming together to fight Emperor Nefarious in the end, dude. Perfect. Yeah, that was super fun. I played Ratchet and Clank for the first time probably in 2003 or 2004. And then when I moved up to Washington and was around him more often, he had a PlayStation and I had an Xbox. So I would go over to his house to play all the PlayStation games. And this one was one of my favorites. It was so good. Up your arsenal, but Ratchet and Clank. But yeah, good game. Was that, yeah, like an hour? Yeah, I started the stream and thought maybe I would try to get the rest of the spy bots so I could use the Rhino for the final fight, but I did not feel like flying around looking for Zerp stones and figuring out how to get them for like an hour. I'm glad that I just went around, got a little bit of Raritanium, upgraded the weapons, finished the arena, and then just got right into the boss. The boss fights probably didn't take a half hour, if I was to guess. And yeah, definitely less than 10 hours of gameplay needed if you're not 100%ing it. Probably could do it at least a couple hours faster than I did it, because I went out of my way to do a lot of extra stuff. Well, let's see. It's 2:20 my time. I could fill another hour with some... I'm just kind of AFK sailing right now, trying to get to level 92 to get the next crewmate. I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot more Gwyneth Glide trials until I can upgrade my boat. So... feel like if I do sailing, I should probably do, I don't know, something else that's a little bit more entertaining or have something to talk about. I guess I could watch the newest, didn't they just dropped on the OSRS podcast, an interview with some mod. Yeah, talking about Raids 4. That dropped a few days ago. Could do that. Hour and a half. That'll take us to 4 hours, which I don't know if I'm gonna go that long. I could probably go, well, yeah, I could probably go another 2 hours, and any longer than that, and I'm pushing it. Congratulations, you've completed the main story. You have unlocked challenge mode. Keep all your weapons and play through a harder version of the game to get a new weapon upgrades and earn more bolts with the bolt multiplier. Create a new challenge mode playthrough at any time from the title menu. Oh, there's like New Game Plus. To get new weapon upgrades and earn more bolts. There's more... Oh, so like, is there stronger? Is there like stronger upgrades? I also want to do it on the hardest setting, since I felt like some of it was just piss easy. Hold up, I did not know there was a New Game Plus. Definitely check this out.
Members of the Resistance, report to your nearest intake facility immediately. We promise nothing nefarious will befall you. We promise. Resistance members, report to the VIP section of your nearest intake facility for compulsory behavioral modification.
Yeah, maybe we'll just start this off and kind of get a feel for it. Maybe up to like the first place we can buy weapons, and then I do want to do some AFK sailing. I want to get to level 91 before tonight, so then I don't feel so pressed to do that, because I want to get to level 91 by today, by the end of the day. Yeah, skip the cinematic. Just this one, because I want to see how different it is. So the second run through is probably using all the guns that you didn't the first time, and then using the guns you did use the first time as like, if you really don't think you can beat a level. Excuse me. Yep. Skip the cinematics. Skip them all. Oh, I have to go through this whole bullshit.
Yes, folks, we have a momentous day in store for you. Starting with me, and ending with a surprise gift from Clank to Ratchet.
Okay, so maybe we'll do a manual save. Yeah. 2, just to be safe. Oops. Yeah, new. Okay. And then we will, I think I am going to exit out of it so we can play some RuneScape. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, the game was fun. And I will probably play the New Game Plus. I just don't really feel like going through the intro and doing all that stuff. All the learning stuff and not having ability to use all your weapons immediately. So yeah, I got till, oh yeah, so I won't even check on those before I leave, or 4:30? Yeah, I will. Okay. Yeah, let's watch the OSRS podcast that dropped a couple days ago. That sounds like fun. They're talking about Raids 4. That sounds fun.
So hopefully you've not just put a target on your back now for that one Iron Man that's gone dry for the particular drop.
Well,
but I've heard of late that actually, there's been a lot of positivity about drop tables and how they feel a lot better than they have in the past. And
that's what we're going for. I'm very proud of what we did for Yammer. The Oathplate smithing stuff, how it integrates skilling with PVM, and also is not like sort of gamified dry protection. It's like actual sort of world integrated dry protection where you get a certain amount of shards and sort of you can watch them build up over time. And when you're on your 700th kill and you still haven't gotten a drop, you at least see that number climb up. And I'm like, okay, I'm 20 shards away from just being able to smith it. So it feels like, God, I'm making some progress. Because it's so demotivating when you're dry. It's like, oh, 17,000th kill and I don't have the drop. I'm right where I was on the first kill. So stuff like that is, I think, contributing. And then, yeah, just generally being better about crafting drop tables in the first place.
So how do you feel about dry protection overall? Because I know it's a bit contentious within the community. Some people are really for it, some people like dead set against it, and then there's those that are in the middle.
So I think variety.
I don't know anybody. I mean, there are just people who are way too like protective of their like ego. If they go 3,000 dry on an item, then you need to be able to suffer the same thing. Like, the way that RNG works is it's random, right? So if something is 1 in 3,000 and you go dry, that doesn't mean that anybody else is like obliged to go dry because it's completely random. And there will always be people who went more dry than you. So I think dry protection is nice for things that are like almost mandatory. Like Vorkath Head is nice because for the longest time it was the best in slot for the next thing. And so it would be bullshit if you had to do like thousands of kills before you get ahead.
Is the spice of life here, and like there are times when you shouldn't be protected against dryness because you know what, having to tough it out and push through, that's literally like part of OSRS's DNA.
It's also life.
Yeah, and it's valuable.
Life lessons.
You know, sounds silly to say, but like before when I was at uni, I did a free-to-play smithing grind where I just got gold from the crafting guild and smelted it in Falador, and I did like somewhere in the realm of 32k gold, and that was.
Are you okay?
It was mind-numbing, grueling, but when I came out the other side, I thought to myself, I could do anything now. If I could do that, I could do anything. And it actually motivated me to like be more perseverant in life. So I think actually having those moments where you have to push through those difficult grinds is part of the experience.
I agree.
Me and my brother played back in 2003, and things were, you got to remember, before the GE and in like the earlier internet days, and we also like prided ourselves on not doing like guides or looking stuff up as much. Whereas now I just use it all the time. But back then I had an account and I just found myself like dying anytime I went into any sort of like combat situation. I just died, right? Because I was a kid and I was shit at the game. But my brother had an account and he like leveled up his combat skills immediately, and he convinced me to just use my account as like a mule for the other account. So I would just be on my account and just fish and cook. I got like 53 or 55 cooking in 2003, within, I want to say like a month or two, a couple months. Which back then, again, experience rate, like, it's just super inefficient because you're just doing other shit. The internet was bad, all kinds of stuff. But I just used my account as basically like a mule for my brother's account. So then when I watched him or used his account, then we would have like incredibly good food. We'd have swordfish, dude. I mean, let's be real. Not even sharks.
I do agree, and that's the sentiment I share as well. But I have heard some players say, well, life sucks. I want an escape from having to persevere in personal grind, and I want to just have fun.
That's true. So that's where the variety
play a different game.
I think you should be able to go some places where it's like, you know, like Yammer, where, okay, I might go dry, but it's virtually impossible for me to not get this by the 1000th kill. I'm always going to have it. And that's all about, like, you know, you visualize it as like curves, right? Like the amount of people going dry sort of decreases like that with a normal drop table. We want to create curves that sort of maybe look a little bit more like that and then just fall off at a certain point, and that's what dry protection does. So a way to think about it is like we want as many different looking curves as you can have, so there's a curve that's right for you.
So you're
Dry protection so if that's going to be the standard going forward, then dry protection at 50 is like crazy because you can kill Vorkath in like a couple of minutes. So that effectively makes that grind less than like a couple of hours. But if they're talking about like, and I would never advocate for this, but like a pet-like situation where it was like 1 in 3,000, and then they made it, you get it guaranteed on the 3,000th kill, I could see that.
You're mainly looking at drop tables from stuff we're newly implementing.
Yeah, well, I did do. I was involved in the summer sweep up. It wasn't just me. You know, we look at it as a team. But yeah, I was part of the conversation around looking at old drop tables. I think that's harder though because we have to treat the history of the game with a lot of respect. It's a lot easier to do crazy new things with new content. It's like, oh, what if we did a system where you like could smith it after killing it a certain amount of times, and it was like pseudo dry protection. It was like, if we did that for something like God Wars, it'd be like changing something that so many people experienced and changing the journey that so many people have been through. It's tougher. It's not to say we should never do it, but it has to be treated with a lot more respect.
Totally. I was looking at it more in the lens of
Totally agree.
Like old school Post-Aura, and it's just seeds and runes and essence and
alcohol.
There you go.
We love money.
Exactly.
Every boss had to be better than bigger than 3 mil an hour because that was the baseline set. That was a horrible time to actually have to deal with. I'm glad that we're a bit past that now. But it was even I think as recent as like, you know, go back 4 years ago, people were still saying, oh well, this doesn't sound good enough because the GP per hour sucks.
I mean, I think people's attitudes have changed, and that's cool to see. And it's because, in a way, I think, you know, because players are such a like core part of our design process, but it's my belief that we sort of need to bring them into our sort of, you know, vision for the future. And I think we have a great community that has the ability to sort of like see what we're going for and go like, okay, well, in the short term, that means less GP for me. But in the long term, you know, we see the vision. And I think in a way, our community have sort of become game designers by like extension, or at least the ones who actively engage with us on like social media platforms, where they don't think about it 24/7, but when they log on to, you know, vote in a poll, they are going through those processes. And I think the natural sort of conclusion of that is that they've become, their opinions have become more nuanced and they see things with a lot more perspective than they used to. So it's cool to see, definitely.
I definitely agree with that. I feel.
I think it's good to have the players be a crucial part of the design process. I think that's a really special part of OSRS, but I think that I agree with that on like a philosophical level. I think that having the community be able to basically freely be involved in the design process of the game is very special because that means we're all trying to preserve this thing that was around 20 years ago. But on a practical level, like obviously, I actually disagree with him. I don't think most regular players are game designers. I think game design, if I'm to guess, it's pretty complicated. And like I have no idea about I don't know anything about game design, so I don't usually try to offer technical ideas because I don't even know where to start with that. But I'm a gamer, so I do know when things feel bad. And so that's the feedback I can get is like, this is what I like, obviously, like all the stuff everybody likes. And then this is exactly what I don't like. But I definitely don't try to say this is what we should have because that implies like knowledge of the craft and I don't have that. So I disagree with him on most of the players are game developer. Quite the opposite. Most of the people who they should just have opinions. You should be able to have an opinion and it be heard by Jagex, but they shouldn't listen to most of us.
I feel like we get a lot better feedback than we used to, a lot more constructive. And I would also agree in the sense that they've came along that journey with us. I think as a team, we've also improved the way that we communicate back to the players and the information that we share, how we bring that back to you as, you know, designers, and then share that ultimately back with them. So it's nice that we've all kind of like came on this journey together and we are where we are now. So how do you deal with feedback when it comes to project that you're working on, you see it just as much as
Yeah.
part of the
I
community.
read it,
but
yeah.
everyone is there reading it, getting involved, and if you're not, we're telling you what they're saying. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Yeah, it's tough because like especially because I was spoiled, because my first project was Perilous Moons, and the response to that was fantastic. People have issues with the Blood Moon, but it's just it's the only place where Barrows is good in the game anymore, and I really don't want to see Barrow die.
Blood Moons, Eclipse, or motherfucker, Perilous Moons, solid content. Love it. And I love how it's supposed to be like a spiritual successor to Barrows. That's how you keep the game alive, because the Barrows used to be high level content when it came out. That was like the highest level. Now that that's like a mid-game grind, it's super cool that they put in something else basically to replace Barrows where it was in not really, but to be a successor to it. And therefore, you needed to do the grind to get the equipment to do it. I think that was really cool. And the bosses are well designed.
So when I saw all that feedback, it was like completely over the moon. Such an overwhelming feeling of like,
good.
I made something that people are like genuinely taking joy in doing. I say I made something,
tons of fun.
art and
they did a great
and
job with it.
The other designers giving feedback, and we've got stakeholders like. There's a lot of people involved in making it, but something that I like put so much into, so many people are like enjoying. It's such a great feeling. Contrasted with like when you fuck up and everyone's like, man, this guy's dog shit and had no idea what he's doing, which isn't literally what they say, but that's what you feel.
No.
Yeah.
It's worse than that.
Yeah. It's like, I'll be candid and give an example. I'll put myself into the fire here.
I was going to ask one, so please do.
So the first major one I remember was
we're all shit talkers,
Tormented
bro.
Demon drop table on release.
Okay.
People were like, "Who on earth thought this would be a good idea?" That was me, which is not a great look for me. But hey, we live, we learn. I haven't made the same mistake since, and it turns out that it was really silly that I'd like tried to be so stingy with the drop table.
Okay.
Because we looked at the like GP per hour, and like 80-90% of it at the time was coming from tormented synapses. And they were like, on release, they were something like 9 mil an hour, which is like crazy for a random sort of pseudo slayer monster that you kill after a quest. It's not really a boss.
Like boss and raid territory.
Yeah. It was like, this is a good activity for money. Why are people so mad? But the answer is that the rest of the drop table was trash, and when you weren't getting a synapse, you were sad. And all it took was upping the GP per hour by like 10k when you weren't getting, which is like a fraction of a percentage point of the overall GP per hour. Like, rune plate body instead of an adamant plate body.
Yeah.
Some dragon arrows over here. And people were like, yeah, this is great now. It's like, wow, I did nothing. I did basically nothing, and everybody likes it now. And
that's because small incremental changes are always good. I think that when you make big changes like that, like sailing was a big change. It completely changed the way you look at the game. If you start as a new player and look at sailing as a part of the game, it completely changes the entire game. But they did a good job on that. When you don't have big changes like that, then you have smaller incremental changes. And I think smaller incremental changes are better, because then if something goes wrong, then you have the ability to either correct it, or the effect on the game is more minimal. So something like that, if that's in fact the way that it went, that the drop table was shit, and I mean, it's not that it's shit, it's just that one of the items is worth so much that once you get that, it pays for all your other time, but otherwise you're getting shit. If he really just made it so then he made a couple of extra items a little bit better, and that made everybody happy, I don't see anything wrong with that. That's just it's the nature of creep in the game, and power creep, money creep, right? Like, it's not like it was 20 years ago where getting a mill is now hard. I mean, getting a mill is now pretty damn easy. They've made it pretty easy.
It just goes to show that a lot of it is about feeling, and there's no reason to be like overly stingy. I don't think, we can't fill every drop table with infinite alcohols, but we shouldn't be stingy about like normal loot either. We can afford to give it out.
That's understandable. I think it makes a lot of sense as well, though, right? Because if you're at the point of doing something like Tormented Demons, you know how easy it is to get rune arrows, right?
Yeah.
So why would you ever want to get an adamant arrow drop over a rune arrow drop? You're not going to use the adamant arrow ever, right? You're just it's going to sit in your bank. It's a drop you leave on the floor. Most people even probably leave the rune arrows.
Yeah.
But there is something foundational to that feeling of like it has some level of worth, even if I'm never going to use them. I'll pick them up still because they could be useful.
It's your point about Yama and seeing the number grow even when you're going dry on a drop, and like the dragon arrows stack growing in your loot tab.
People have got that little loot tab exactly open on the side of Rune Light, and they're seeing that go up.
They need to rework a
They
lot.
could have picked up that they probably didn't.
drop
It's like,
tables.
oh yeah, cool. I made 50 mil doing Ultimate Demons.
The flip side of that is that most of what we can put on drop tables is random resources, and so every time we do that, every time we lean on it, it detracts from those resources. So it's like a balancing game, and we don't always get it right, but the hope is that we get better at doing it every time that we do it.
Nice. Well, it's also another reason why there's I wouldn't say a focus, that's too much of a strong point towards it, but there's definitely more attention towards items that require some resource to charge them, right?
Somebody's woodcutting in the back. There's a monitor running with rune light. Who's at that monitor?
Because that can help offset alcohols, skilling resources in terms of GP. But
do they have a video of somebody woodcutting in the background on like replay?
Then we also know that the players aren't too fond of it.
Players don't like charge skate.
No, they don't. It is our single most valuable tool. But it's not even charges. It's things that deplete.
Yeah.
And that's why we sort of experiment with stuff like, Yama was, again, we had a lot of wacky ideas, and maybe we shouldn't have tested them all at the same time, but it worked out. So, whatever. Diabolic worms were like, okay, this is like a consumable resource. It rather than dropping the fish, let's drop something that allows you to get the fish quicker, so that this item like doesn't devalue anglerfish fishing directly. What it does is it sort of siphons some of the value. But if nobody uses the diabolic worms, like it requires people to go out and do fishing. If nobody uses the diabolic worms, then they become really cheap, which means that they have almost no impact on like the cost of doing anglerfishing. But they speed it up, so people get more anglerfish, can sell quicker. And it basically creates these like economic equilibriums where there is a healthy relationship between killing Yama and fishing anglerfish. If everybody's killing Yama, no one's fishing anglerfish. Fishing anglerfish becomes more profitable slightly. If everybody's fishing anglerfish and no one's killing Yama, then using diabolic worms becomes expensive and it's not worth it anymore. So it creates sort of like balanced economies, people doing a variety of things.
Which I guess
creates incentives to do certain actions, to do certain things.
Works for a lot of items like angler, because you're always going to want to overeat. But when you're looking at introducing other stuff like normal food, and our only way about like recreating an output for normal food with things like chip damage and stuff like that. So then it just cascades down into, all right, well, here's another system that players don't necessarily love, but it's quite important for the health of the economy.
But we're getting creative, and I think we're finding ways around it. But one of the things that Yama did as well was Oathplate shards. Effectively, they siphoned some of the GP that would go into the Oathplate itself. So the big ticket drop is the Oathplate. And rather than all of the money of Yama being concentrated in that singular drop, it pulls some of it out into this like fragment of a piece of Oathplate. And so what that does is it like sort of, it doesn't change the GP per hour, it just evens out the curve of like all the spikes in your GP per hour from when you get a unique to when you get these temporary drops. So those are the sorts of things that we're exploring to like make it feel good without like negatively impacting things like the skilling economy, which is in dire straits thanks to things like Zulrah and the like. Though, hot take, I will say straits thanks to things like Zulrah and the like.
Like,
Though,
thanks to what?
Which is in dire straits thanks to things like Zulrah and the like. Though, hot take, I will say,
I couldn't
Zulrah
understand what he says.
killing
Oh,
flax
Zulrah.
picking, not a bad thing. Like, who wants to sit there and pick flax?
No, I don't want.
Well, see, now hold on. Hold up, because you started this by saying there are certain grinds that you do that it's just like, suck it up. This is RuneScape. There's only one other person in here. If you played RuneScape back in the day, did you have to do flax? Fuck yeah, you did. Any RuneScape player worth their salt back in the day. First of all, we all dreaded doing it because it sucked. But dude, it was one of the best ways to make money in the game. Just super easy because it just spawned on the ground, and the wheels right there, right next to a bank. It's all right there. We all did that at least once. It was like a rite of passage in back in the day. Now all of a sudden, he's like, oh, but that is not something that is like an integral part of the game, and so we're going to replace it with a combat-based monster that drops it so big that it ruins the flax economy. Like, what?
To do that, but I look at my time in the flax fields as formative again.
Thank you.
Mentioned earlier.
Based.
Yeah.
There was something nice about forestry. Has a lot of faults to it.
Yeah.
But
Based.
at least bring Sears Village to life on one
Yeah,
level at least.
such a good feeling.
So I love Sears Village. That's where I was going with the whole flax thing, which is like
Yeah, yeah.
Sears Village
You're
is
just
nice.
stuck in nostalgia, mate.
A good feeling that you want to take away?
Liked picking flax because it meant that you could buy your glory amulet, right? That's why you like picking flax. Go to do pick flax now, you'll hate it.
And then I'd sell it for a loss. And I'm
No,
like,
that's
I need
not
to pick up
true.
Flax to buy it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was stuck in that loop.
Hold on. That's not even true because as the game changes, certain things will become dead content, and then the way that you revive it is by making new content that references it. But if you make a boss that makes picking flax irrelevant, then of course people are going to find picking flax not fun. Back in the day, when, again, picking flax was something you did and it was like a mid to late game thing, right? Then everybody did it. But now that the economy and the game has changed so much, that's like maybe an early game thing that you do to make some quick money if you don't want to like use the, I don't know. I can still see it being a part of the game, but you see what I'm saying? How he kind of flipped. He was like, he went from traditional things that people like about RuneScape are good and grinds are good, and we shouldn't just willy-nilly get rid of them. And then he's like, oh, but the flax grind, that's one that we can just get rid of. So it kind of shows that it is more just, it's not that you need to preserve everything because it's tradition, it's just certain things. That's it.
I think you've actually got a point, because when you walked through Sears Village as a kid, you'd see people chopping maples, people picking flax.
Yep.
Maybe some other things. I forget what else you can do in
Running
Sears
tons
Village.
of fletching in the bank.
Yeah.
Tons of fletching in the bank.
It was the fletching place to
when
go.
when you walked through Sears Village, you were like, this is a lively town.
Yeah.
There's the flax pickers, there's the woodcutters, right?
Now it's a ghost town.
Yeah, as we've optimized the game, that's not even, the game hasn't even like fundamentally changed that much in terms of Sears Village, but as players have sort of
Sears Village in general is completely empty, but if you go to forestry worlds, I've noticed that there's actually tons of people. Those worlds were, or Sears Village was popping the 2 weeks before Sailing came out because everybody was cutting maples there. So, I disagree slightly.
optimized how to play the game. We've introduced more teleports. People spend less time in those spaces. And so, yeah, you don't see people just hanging out doing a thing. Everyone's like doing a specific activity in the middle of nowhere that is like the most optimal place to do it. So, yeah, I think there's things we could do to bring that back. Like, you know, I joked about flax picking being dead. The solution there is, as you say, like forestry sort of brought a place back to life. Maybe there's more things we can do to make it so that towns or the areas where people congregate, which tend to be like banks, so that those places feel sort of more alive and there's more people doing things. Yeah.
One day a month, the Grand Exchange is closed. Everyone has to come
Hey,
together to trade.
I like that.
Like they did back in the old days. Sears
I
Village
like
becomes
that.
A place for logs, unstrung bows.
Yeah.
Hold
bow
on a sec.
strings, Falador, massive.
Who's this
log.
guy? Who's that guy? That's a great idea. I'm not even kidding. Mod Aiz and Sween sit with Mod Rice. So I don't know. Let's see. This is either Mod Aiza or Mod Sween. That's a great idea. Dude, straight up, even just for fun, you should do it once. Have a day where the Grand Exchange closes. So then you know it's going to open back up, and I wonder how that affects the economy and how that will like affect the way that people play the game on that day. Dude, I'm so down. You have no idea.
Marketplace, Varrock for your potions and your rares. Love it. Actually, to be fair, Falador was also used in that way too.
It was that way once upon a time, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
Like, trading markets do close overnight, so
yeah, the Grand Exchange has got to be reset. They've got to take all the tax money and figure out how they're paying the bankers. We'll real worldify Gielinor even more.
I was talking with somebody earlier about how it's really unrealistic. You can buy a house for 10k, so we should switch over to a rental system where to keep your POH, you actually have to pay gold on a monthly basis.
It's actually really affordable.
I don't like that. I mean, it would be more like real life. It would be more realistic, but I don't fucking want that shit. Does anybody also want to be taxed to death for rent in-game as well as out of game? Kind of a tone-deaf thing to say.
Buying a house in Gilmore when you think about it.
Yeah, remarkably so.
Simpler when you've got like a pocket dimension where you can just build infinite houses.
It helps, I think it helps.
We're missing a trick in the real world here. There's something to it.
It also helps that every single individual is capable of becoming a master house builder. Because I don't know about you, but I don't know how to like build walls and
this guy is the go-to for our friendship group. I'm like, hey, Aiza, here's a very simple task. I don't know how to do it. Can I video call? And then you show me how to do it. So he knows.
True.
Do you know
he built a cabin recently.
Whoa.
Very cool.
Really?
Yeah, I did actually.
Can you like plug in a washing machine as well?
I can do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
God,
I did actually put my washing machine and dishwasher in when I moved into the house.
But earlier in the group chat, he was talking about like the MOT and how he's just fixed.
Why are we all so autistic? As RuneScape players, can we just cut the shit? What the fuck are we talking about?
Up, does a lot of the car stuff himself, which is, I think, something we should all aspire towards.
Oh, I mean, that's definitely more my dad. I am so far detached from cars. I grew up with cars my entire life, so it's one of those things that I'm kind of like, I don't want to say out of spite because it's not out of spite, but I think it was like so much in my life that I just don't want anything to do with them. But I do know how to do some things. I know, though, that my parents may end up watching this podcast back and they'll call me out for being a bullshitter if I said that I would do it myself, because I will definitely know my dad for my car. But, you know, you say about everyone in Gilmore being a master house crafter.
Yeah.
If you put 1,000 hours into figuring something out, you'd become a master at it too.
Yeah.
Yep.
We just choose the easier route, which is to do it in the virtual world rather than the real one.
I think it helps that mastering it in the virtual world involves like clicking your left mouse button a whole bunch of times
and not physical activity.
Like,
Although you are a master of some things.
Resources.
I've heard and seen that you're a master of the sword.
I wouldn't call myself a master.
I've seen the video.
I think I beat the average person.
Yeah, you would definitely chop me to pieces.
Here's the segue then. What does Mod Rice do outside of Jagex?
Yeah, right now I spend a lot of time dealing with conveyances, which is not fun for anybody who's not in the UK. That means like basically you're not allowed to talk to other people that you're buying a house from. So you have to talk to your lawyer so they can talk to their lawyers. And maybe there's like 2 or 3 people in that process, so there's like 2 or 3 change of lawyers, and you don't like.
Wow, this is riveting podcasting, you guys. This is riveting OSRS podcasting.
You just have to wait, and they're all super busy, so it takes like months to get a response
actually,
for
isn't
anything.
It? The only time you ever speak to the person that you're buying the house from is if you happen to be lucky enough to meet them the day that you walk around and see the house.
Yeah.
Even then, sometimes it's an estate agent.
It's very strange. So I do a lot of that. But my hobbies
Who the fuck
include,
cares?
Swinging swords. I'm a HEMA enthusiast, and I like watching a little bit of harness fecting.
A what?
So harness fecting's the like armored version of what most people consider HEMA. So HEMA's historical European martial arts, which is about like
I don't care.
People who do HEMA.
No, don't apologize. I love it. I love the passion for it. It's like
we're just gonna skip all that.
So you kind of discovered Old School a fair few years after it had been out. I think Swampletics was 2018 onwards, perhaps around that kind of time.
I think it was a bit even more
later.
recent than that. So like technically later.
Okay.
Because I don't think Swampletics was around when I was before I'd left Jagex.
Fair enough. But that
But
kind of time
anyway,
anyways.
yeah. Early 2020, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. I'm a pretty late fan, but I will say I think I am ultimately more than just a fan of the modern game. I think there's like something actually special, what I call like the DNA of old school RuneScape, like the formula that we're locked into now, because we have one of our like, you know, one of the core things we do is we respect the history of the game. We ask ourselves the question, what does old school RuneScape look like in 5 years? Not how do we turn old school RuneScape into the kind of MMO that people like over the course of...
Well, and it's funny that he says that is because, I mean, the numbers don't lie. OSRS is the most popular MMO. So don't try to be what people want it to be. Just be a good game. Right? Oh, and by the way, don't listen to this guy, because again, now he's just driving the tradition thing again, but this is the guy that just said it's okay that Zora replaced flax picking. So that's just definitely a talking point that like the higher ups tell him. They're like, hey, just talk about how much like the tradition of RuneScape matters. It's like, yeah, but then in game you're making certain things irrelevant.
To 5 years, that like is a really important part, because I actually think the original formula, while not like refined to the point that it is now, the game I do think is way better now. But what the original formula was going for is actually really, really cool. Like, I remember, I always tell this story. It's the reason, like, sometimes I think it's the reason I'm making games, which is awesome. The earliest memory I have of wanting to create anything was on Tutorial Island. I remember making my first bronze dagger and going, I can't believe I just made a weapon and that I can equip. I used to stab things. Of course, immediately you get told to unequip it and equip the sword. I think I actually re-equipped the dagger and killed the rat with the dagger because I wanted to use the thing that I just made.
He's looking at Varnica like, no, bro. I
Dude,
made this.
what the hell are you talking about? I call it like the Tutorial Island promise, where it like promises you this like world of like you're gonna get to do so many things.
Sure.
And that's that's like a core part of the DNA of the game. And even as we've gotten like further away from it and we've developed the game more, like I'm a fan of everything new that we've made, but I believe that like being an old school RuneScape fan is like a part of me. Like even if I discovered it 5 years earlier or 5 years later, I still would have been a fan, because there's something at the core of the thing that I just love.
RuneScape got the MMO right, in my opinion, all those years ago in a lot of ways. Like the exponential leveling system where 92 is only halfway to 99. The fact that the idea wasn't that the graphics were the best, but the story and the gameplay was just so classic. It's like literally if you lift a D&D type campaign and put it into like a visual 2D computer game. It had a lot of charm. But yeah, I mean, it has changed over the years. I don't think necessarily it's better or worse now. It's just different. The open secret with that is the Grand Exchange fundamentally changed what the game was, because up until then, trading was a legitimate way to get certain things you need or to make money. It was a important part of the game. The Grand Exchange completely changed that. It just fundamentally changed what RuneScape was.
I wasn't saying you weren't a fan.
No.
Where I was going with it before you made me question Swamp Medic's release date in my mind was, what were you doing? What were you playing before you stumbled upon Settled?
I was at university, which meant I was developing a lot of games.
What did you study?
Games programming.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little bit of programming. And I ended up doing a lot of game design because we had like an integrated course where we worked side by side with artists and designers, but my team ended up not having a designer for the first 2 years. And I just was like, cool, yeah, I'll do this.
Sweet.
Love that for me. I made a game about smithing, which I attached to my application to Jagex, and it came up in the interview. So there's some chance that actually helped. There's a lot of fun stories about my interview with Jagex, because
I'm pretty sure the echo in this, by the way, is not me. I'm pretty sure it's them. They are not close enough to their microphones. That microphone is designed to catch you like right here. If you can't see it, my microphone is right here out of frame. And honestly, it is set super, super, super low, and I can be this far away. But you also hear a lot of my room. They need to be right up on that microphone. They need to turn it down so then it's not going to peak if they're talking so because if you're talking to somebody a little farther from you and you need to talk louder, that's fine. Just turn down the gain a little bit.
Like, I also got to put my total level at the top of my application,
Nice.
and I got asked about it, which means that it contributed to me getting the job, which means my parents telling me that playing video games was never going to get me a job may have actually been legitimately false,
Yeah,
like provably so.
That was so totally wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It would have helped for sure.
Yeah, it did help.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have been able to put 2,100 total level.
I mean, at that point, all you had to do was show that you were a
He said the fucking total. Why can't we be normal? Why can't we, as RuneScape players, just be normal?
competent person, you probably would have just been given the job.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You know, 2100. Yep, can listen to instructions. Also knows game development. Is really into fantasy. Is great at putting together. You were an easy pickup.
Thank you.
It was the easiest hire I think they'd ever had.
But yeah, before then, the games I played, I played a lot of League of Legends, and then
that explains a lot.
Yeah, then after that, I played a lot of Dota 2, and
says something. Well, that explains a lot. Okay, thanks, Captain Dipshit. That was very contributive to the conversation.
I like to think, in retrospect, I love both games, though I will never play them again.
Are MOBAs like a dead genre to you now entirely?
You know what? I'm going to go even further than that, and this might sort of put some people off of me, but I actually think my desire to like defeat other people is dead.
It's just gone.
It's just gone. Like, when I think about it happened, I play board games sometimes, and I think, God, I really just don't want to beat my friends. Like, I'll sandbag and just lose. Not like hard, but, you know, it's not...
I don't know if it to be like really sad or find it really admirable.
I find it admirable. I'm picturing like from some kind of isekai anime, like you stumble upon like the sword master he's a pacifist. He doesn't do that stuff. He's like Uncle Iroh.
Just compete like a normal person.
I still like, you know,
I'm like
killing monsters.
Sween over here. This guy's feral. He wants to win it by any means.
That's untrue.
That is not untrue. I saw you throwing 50 stones in a row.
Stop it. No.
This man was adamant that he was going to get this stone into a certain position. I'm not going to go into too much detail.
That's fine, cool.
As soon as he got anywhere close, you should have seen the ferality in his eyes. He was so ecstatic.
We were at the seaside on the weekend. It was lovely. I was throwing stones, and there was a seagull very far away. So far away, I knew I could not possibly reach it. I couldn't reach it. Impossible. If I could, everyone would go, "Whoa! I should be in the Olympics." Or something like that. So
nobody ever said that.
Was that direction?
Dooming yourself, mate.
I'll stop there.
Why are we all
I did not
weird?
hit the seagull. I want to clarify that before I move on anyway.
Why are we all weird? One of us needs to not be weird, or else... That's the thing, is if you're going to have a ton of people with hats on hats, that's okay as long as there's one person with one hat being like, this is not normal. That's fine. But once everybody is wearing 3 hats, we've got a problem.
He did not hit the seagull. He did not. I'm not convinced.
Very competitive when it comes to like real world sports.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Then yeah.
And to be clear, I love competition. I love that people work so hard. Like, people would not be what they are if they weren't competing for something. Like, seeing people at the pinnacle of their sports, you know, I don't particularly like beating the shit out of people, but when I watch 2 people who have like really trained to do it as well as they possibly can, I think, you know, there's value in that.
When you said I don't particularly like beating the shit out of people, it was almost like
you do often.
It was almost like I do it anyway.
No, I'm talking about like martial arts and stuff. But
Mother Ice on a Friday night. If you sell us down, stay away.
I don't like this. I don't like that I'm having to do this.
Domestic violence is funny if you laugh about it and shrug it off.
Sorry.
But I mean that, like, yeah, I admire competition so much that when I just think anyone trying to be the best that they can be at something, and being pushed by other people to be even better, is like a really cool human social dynamic, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But nowadays, I don't really have the like fire in me to do that. So I think more of what I do, more of what I like, is challenging myself against myself, which real like sports also, like, you know, people at the pinnacle of their sport also do that on a daily basis. It's just that I like to not involve the other people. So after all of that, I moved on to I think the most sort of like core game to my gaming experience is Dark Souls and
Okay.
the FromSoft games that ensued.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 1 was like, it sort of, I think was the thing that made me think like, okay, maybe I want to
Green
take
flag?
like, game design more seriously, because I've played loads of games and they're all great, but like this is like blowing my mind. Like there's something like genuinely special about this where I want to be good enough to replicate this. And I don't think that I am right now. I think part of me thought to myself, every game I've played up until now, I get it. And, you know, I could probably crack one of those out. Dead wrong about that. Total Dunning-Kruger syndrome. But Dark Souls was the first one where I was like, this is so amazing that I don't think I could do this. And so I want to get better, and I want to do it. And played Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, played Bloodborne, played Sekiro, decided Sekiro's combat system is like the most amazing thing ever. I can't believe that they one-up themselves again. Here I am trying to like beat... I remember I wrote this 19-page design document in college, like how I would do Dark Souls combat better. And I had some of the right ideas, I'll give myself credit, but then Sekiro came out. I was like, wow, they just literally made it better in every way and avoided all the pitfalls that I did. They're geniuses. And then Elden Ring came out, and I'm not
I've never played Sekiro and I've never heard of it.
gonna lie, I was disappointed that it wasn't still there. I played through it all, enjoyed it, but I was so
It's
disappointed.
lost some
that-
part of charm for you. that
They were trying
Sekiro
to
had.
do something different, and I think they succeeded
Yeah.
in doing that. They
Yeah.
created like this massive, expansive, accessible, explorable world, as opposed to like the really carefully crafted narrative
100%.
world you're thinking of.
Yeah, yeah, because even in Sekiro, you don't have armor sets, you don't have weapons. You have the tools, but like everything is very linear and curated. So that's why I'm very specific about saying I think Sekiro's combat system is like the best I've ever played, because it's worse than other games. It's funny, I joked with a friend that Sekiro was better than Dark Souls 1, Elden Ring was better than Sekiro, but Dark Souls 1 was better than Elden Ring.
Okay.
And there's this like circular relationship where every time I try and rate one above the other, I end up like going, yeah, well, this did this better. And so, yeah, I think they each have their own strengths,
Yeah.
but I'm totally in love with the Sekiro combat system. I played a lot of video games, but yeah, none of them come to mind. When I was a kid, when I was really young, I played the Hercules game. That was like super cool. I love Hercules. I
Was that
think
a
he's
side
awesome.
scroller?
It was,
Was,
yeah.
okay, I do
Yeah, it
remember
was
it.
dead hard.
Yeah.
Super hard.
All the Disney games were. I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah,
They
some
were.
of them are like ludicrous. I remember seeing them on like games done quick.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
like people are saying you try and beat this game normally, you were never going to be able to.
Insane.
Yeah,
I
so
think
they
these were just established studios full of people who like playing difficult games, who were
Yeah.
then they'd won the right to develop the
Yeah.
IP, and it was like, okay, well, we want to make a game that we want to play.
you imagine that young kid really into Disney, feels great, never gets past the first
But-
level.
But if you push through, it's something
Yeah.
else. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll tell another story about my early gaming days. My mother bought me some maths games because she wanted me to be good.
Yeah,
at
see, again, I don't care about all the personal stuff. I don't know any of these people, and I'm not so invested on getting to know them. I don't care. I want to hear about the
I
game.
used to do game jams, and I want to do more.
No skilling rooms.
Skilling rooms, that's part of
Yeah.
it, probably.
Great bosses.
Though listen, not to throw any shade at anyone, but I think there hasn't been a good skilling room yet because I haven't made a skilling room yet.
There's no such thing, Ross.
No, not for this raid, but maybe down the line.
Maybe do a skilling focus raid. Sure.
Yeah.
If I'm going into PVM, I want a PVM.
I'll pitch you this though. You've done Yammer?
I
Yes.
have no.
No. Okay.
No.
You've done Yammer? No. Okay.
I've been playing a Baby
have-
Little Iron Man. I'm so far.
Oh,
on
okay,
the-
cool.
my main.
I've seen people do Yammer.
Okay, that's good. Presumably you've seen people do
I
Yammer.
have indeed, yeah.
You see the little hopscotch
Yeah.
minigame,
Yeah.
right? That is actually a skilling room in disguise, I would say.
Touche. Yeah.
And
fair point. Okay,
guess
take
who-
it back.
guess
You
who
can
made
make it work.
Guess who made it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know you made it work. I remember talking to you about how satisfying it was watching you jump over and being able to tick with
And
it.
I've seen some of the
mage.
skilling pictures in game jams we've done internally as well.
Yeah. I think we've come a long way. But anyway, not for this raid.
This guy, I'm sorry, this is just the first time I've heard him talk. He's a penis. This guy is 100% certified penis boy. He's a rat. Look at him. I'm sorry, and I have nothing to base this off of except for what he's been saying.
We're probably not doing it for this raid, because we're trying to identify. Okay, Tob did really well. The game variety is good, but we could afford to do another Tob, and a lot of that right now is along the lines of one of the things we talk about a lot is like Akka could have been the final boss of a raid. especially at like release. Like so much stuff going on, so many mechanics. It's more about like looking at something like Maiden, where there are like spikes in intensity, but you spend a lot of time just whacking the boss. Feels pretty good. And so looking at like, okay, rather than view every boss as a monolith, because that's how we develop them, right? We sit down, we make a boss. We don't like sit down and make a raid, because that's too large of a task to even like conceptualize. And so we end up playtesting the boss and going like, oh, it doesn't have enough. And we keep adding and adding and adding. And then you insert it into the middle of the raid, and by the time people get to it, they're knackered and they have no interest.
I was just going to say that one of the problems with TOA, even if you were to take out the skilling at puzzle rooms, is that it's an exhausting raid.
Yeah.
You have to focus on it so much. Like, yeah, sure, there are people that don't have to, but for the vast majority of players, it requires so much attention to not mess up, to do the raid properly. I only want to do 2 runs and I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like the consensus is that TOA is the most popular, followed by Cox, and then TOB. I do think TOB is the least favorite amongst the players. But then it seems that the agreed, because I'm not part of it, but the high level community and people who, know more about like actual difficulties when it comes to raids seems to say that like TOB is the hardest because it's all melee based and it's just the most dangerous. Then Cox, then TOA. I could be wrong, but it's also it seems that everybody agrees TOA is the easiest, and then the other 2 are harder but less popular.
I can't bring my brain to want to do more after.
Is what you're getting at then with Tob, in every room, there's like a base level of kind of comfortable gaming you can get through. But then if you want to optimize for speeds, you can then incorporate different things as well. So there's like no one way to solve. You have to solve every mechanic in Tob. If you don't solve every mechanic, you'll probably wipe. Or in Tob, you can just casual friend raid. You can go speeds. And is that what you're getting at with this?
That's definitely the goal. There is another layer to it, which is basically that we want like really simple interaction. So you look at something like Zarpus, Phase 2. Only thing it does is shoot goo at where you're standing.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all it does. It's not rocket science. There's no like I've got to like swap 6 ways into this thing, switch prayers into that thing. Like you're literally just whacking the boss while it shoots goop at where you're standing, and it's really fun. And so looking at okay, how do we design, or rather than designing complex fights, design or complex mechanics, design simple mechanics that give rise to complex interactions.
Yes.
And a lot of that has to do, we realized one of the things is like, God, it's so much easier to do this when players have to melee, because it forces so much more interesting movement. We don't want to pigeonhole ourselves into just doing melee, but it's like things that that come up. It's like if somebody has to position in a certain way, you don't need to like throw 17 billion different prayer switches at them. You can just like have an interesting fight that is all about thinking like, okay, where am I going to stand next? This is another thing. We're actually talked this internally about the team, or internally within.
I think that's a good way of thinking about it.
In the team, because a lot of us are Dark Souls fans, FromSoft fans, and so there's this notion in Dark Souls that like everything must be readable. Like you must be able to, it must be theoretically possible to walk into this boss and do a 0-hit run the first time. First of all, that's not really like FromSoft fans, and so there's this notion in Dark Souls that like everything must be readable. Like you must be able to, it must be theoretically possible to walk into this boss
what he's saying
and do a 0-hit run.
Okay.
The first time. First of all, that's not
theoretically.
Really like, it's not really realistic, because nobody is actually doing that. So
yeah,
but it's theoretically possible, and so a lot of us come at it from the same angle. But actually, a lot of the like funnest stuff in old school RuneScape, like Zolra is a fight that still holds up to this day, and it's so old, and ain't nobody beating that shit on the first try. Like who knows where the poison pools are going? Nobody. It's impossible.
I remember release, people said it was too hard.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the gear was worse, but
yeah. And look at Tob. You know, it might have had a disastrous release, no one being able to finish it, but it has emerged into like a really beloved piece of content. So I have, well, I say recently, I try and push a little bit. I think most mechanics should be readable, especially ones that have like high impact. But one of the things, for example, I remember pushing for early on was Sol Heredit. First time you walk into Sol Heredit, you don't know the patterns. You have to have seen them somewhere else. And if it's release day, you haven't. And so you're going to get hit. And it was like, there were people saying like, well, can't we just put some shadows on the ground to let people know? It's like, well, we could, but I don't actually think that's, it's good to do that some places, but I don't actually think that's old school RuneScape. I think some bits of old school RuneScape, you just kind of need to learn it by doing it. And you go in, you get smacked, maybe you die, and then you come back in.
I disagree with that completely. I think that adding mechanics that allow you to be rewarded based on your skill is a good thing. So doing things that, give you an indication of what's going to happen, and then if you react quick enough or correctly, then either you don't take damage or you get a damage buff, something like that, like an increase in DPS, that's all good. I don't know what that's the thing is, RuneScape didn't get everything right back in the day, right? Back in the day, there was a lot more instances like he's talking about. It's good that there are more mechanics that you can avoid or react to now.
I'm not saying we should do that everywhere, but I do think that Tob, for example, does that in some places. Like, there are some mechanics that you just, until you've been hit by them, you just don't know how to engage with them.
Yeah.
And that ends up creating a more interesting dynamic. So, it's not like we're going to be out here trying to, gotcha with every single attack. It's like, aha, you got one shot, die, bitch. It's more about, respecting that old school RuneScape is not Dark Souls. And by extension, it's not part of the Souls-like sphere of influence entirely. It crosses over, but every single modern game is iterating on what FromSoft showed was sort of the way to go. And
this guy is probably a great programmer, but he's bad at speaking, because he's just saying both things. He's not being consistent at all or being authentic. It doesn't feel authentic. It feels like this is what you talk about. But if he brought us Perilous Moons, then his work is good. But when he speaks, it's because he just says both things. We need to conserve what RuneScape is, but also do things like have Zulrah replace flax picking,
And that's good, but we should take the bits that serve us and not try not to become entirely, the Souls-like formula.
That's really cool. I'm really glad you kind of touched on that, actually, because old school has never been a game that holds your hand all the way through. You get guided in some ways, but I'm also kind of sick and tired of games that literally guide you every step of the way. I want to be able to have the freedom to be able to choose something, and the problem that I have is that when a game tells me to go do something, if I'm not doing that, I feel like I'm being inefficient or I'm not playing the game the right way. Yeah. And even though it's in my own mentals and I could just ignore that, I can't. It's there and I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this now. So I'm just going to go back to doing the main story because it tells me that I should be. Yeah. Whereas
one of the biggest attractions to RuneScape for me back in the day was back then, the concept of an open world was not really you had your level that you were on, right? Or whatever, environment you were in currently at the game. And then you usually wouldn't go to a next environment unless you got to the next level or something, right? But RuneScape was one of those unique games where you could just start a new account, and once you get off of Tutorial Island, you could do literally whatever you want, right? You could get off Tutorial Island and immediately go do a grind, right? Some kind of grind, and finish that grind before you start doing other things. Or because back in the day, I just started doing all of the basic shit around Lumbridge and Draenor and Al-Kharid before I even went up to Varric. I didn't even do Vampire Slayer. I literally just stuck around Lumbridge, Draenor, and Al-Kharid, killing goblins for the money to get into Al-Kharid. Doing Prince Ali, doing Cook's Assistant, doing all the little quests right there. Sheep shearer, sheep helper, sheep herder, whatever. Sheep quest, right? So choosing to actually do all of the low-level stuff in the area before then you could do stuff like Doric's Quest and go up to Falador and down to Remington, and then you do Vampire Slayer where you got to go to Varrock, right? The cool part about this game is it is not linear at all. You're dropped into this big open world, and there's no set rule of you have to do this and then this. Like, there are quest lines, so you can't just do any quest right away. You have to do easier quests to progress to harder quests, but you could do quests in pretty much any order you want outside of that. It's really unique that they got that right 20 years ago. That was so different, because almost every game, like, you start out and everybody does the same thing, and then at some point you deviate. RuneScape was like, you get off Tutorial Island, you can immediately go to Falador and mine, because back then, especially before the GE, like, if you didn't know where to buy all your armor, you were smithing that shit or getting it from drops. And you weren't getting it from drops until you were fighting monsters that were stronger than the armor which you need. So, yeah, I mean, it's a very special part of RuneScape.
The games that don't have that, I love it. And not to say that, you know, every game is the same, and I know that, you know, FromSoft games don't hold your hand all the way through it, but yeah, I like that we don't. I like that we're a little bit against the grain in that aspect. And granted, we need to give a bit more guidance to people when they first join the world. That could do with some improvements.
Well, you got great ideas around that, I feel. You were talking about the spider web.
Yeah, the like how like the entire game is like, or like the entire mid game is this like beautiful network of like requirements, either for quests or for skilling methods or for like and putting together like how you're going to traverse the spider web is like a unique.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things we talked about when Yama was releasing
totally
is how
agree.
like you could probably now like go a very different route to what you did before by going like tormented demons into Yama as your vehicle into the end game. Like that's one way to traverse the spider web. There's a bunch of other requirements there with AKD and Gothic Sleeps and stuff like that. But yeah, that's like the bit that appeals so much. I think we recapture that in Leagues where like everyone has to reassess the spider web with these new relics that sort of like warp it slightly. But in the early game, you arrive in Lumbridge and it's like, cool, there's like Cook's Assistant, Restless Ghost, you know, all of these quests, and none of them are interlinked. None of them have any requirements that sort of relate to each other. So you're just dropped into this thing that looks nothing like what is arguably the coolest part of the game.
Yep.
Why? Why? So
That's a hot take, but I agree with that take. That is a hot take, but I agree with that take. I do think I love Gridmaster, and I think that's tons of fun. It's good for the game too, because back then, if you were going to drop somebody into RuneScape, you had to really be of a certain caliber of nuts to be like, oh, I'm just dropped in this game where like it doesn't really tell me what to do, right? There's no like story progression. You just sort of do whatever you want, and like all of these skills are like, you're kind of fooled into thinking they're quick to train at first, and then as you level it, they just get progressively like harder, like the exponential level system. But now the early game can be completed so quickly that doing something like Leagues, where you essentially just speed up, you increase all the drop rates and all of the XP rates, so then the early and mid game are just like a couple hour grind. It makes it more like a gacha game, because you can just drop in, play for like a day or two, literally, and experience most of the content. That part of it is nice.
I feel like, and you know, we can't just arbitrarily change old things, especially things that old.
Yeah.
Probably can't touch Cook's Assistant, but I think to myself, what if there was a quest in Lumbridge that had a level 10 prayer requirement, so that you were like, and maybe it was like a really cool looking quest, and you'd be like, oh, actually, I want to do that. And if I do Restless Ghost,
you get the prayer.
I'll get level 10 prayer.
Yeah.
And that's when it clicks, and that's how you're moving through the game.
And when you were talking to us about this on that call, I loved it. I was like, oh, cool. It's not about changing the early game, making it easier, or making it more accessible, or forcing people on par. It's just about showing them why old school's cool earlier on.
That's it.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, sweet, I'll stick with this because I'm progressing, and I have choices.
Yeah, and then you pitched an awesome quest idea that I absolutely think we should do at some point.
Oh, thank
I
you.
won't spoil it. You can talk about it if you want.
I can barely remember it.
I need to know it.
It's very disassociative and weird to have this fucking RuneScape playing where nobody's playing it. I don't know if it's a video or if they have somebody else, like somewhere else, playing it. I don't know what's happening, but that needs to go away.
It
I've
was
not
so
heard
good.
this.
It was like basically it was like Duke's assistant. So you level up from Cook's assistant. Now you're assisting the Duke, and you had to like outfit some guards. So you have
Okay.
to like give them some armor and some weapons, which like may require you to go to a shop or to do some smithing. And then you have to like show them how to kill a goblin and stuff like that. And it feels like a bona fide old school RuneScape early game quest. Like it's a sheep shearer, but crucially, you can slap requirements on that, and you can give combat XP for it. Like obviously everybody knows nowadays you go and do waterfall quests if you want to progress your account efficiently. But you know, what if there was a slightly less extreme version of that in Lumbridge, so that people who didn't know what they were doing were on a more level.
Bro, you gotta stay in your lane. Like, what is it? Conserving what RuneScape is good, and we want to add to it, or are we fucking changing the game? What are you talking about? We're gonna put a waterfall-like quest in Lumbridge, so then people who don't know about waterfall quests don't have to leave Lumbridge within 5 minutes or whatever, 10 minutes of creating their account. That fundamentally changes the progress of all accounts. What are you talking about? This guy is, again, he probably is a great programmer and a really talented programmer, because Perilous Moons is amazing. I don't know what else he did, but some of these opinions are not good.
Level playing field to people who had, you know, this was their 7th account.
I remember it now. Yeah, it was about, obviously there's a mine, and then there's like the bronze smithing furnace in Lumbridge as well.
Yeah.
They go mine in the swamp, go smith it there. Maybe there's the bronze anvil too.
Yeah.
And also breadcrumbing, because if you're assisting the Duke, then you're probably assisting the assistant of the Duke, breadcrumbing like the ham quest storylines and stuff too. I feel like there is some room there.
100%.
Draenor.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh, thank you.
It was a really
I
good
forgot
pitch.
about that.
I'm still keen on it. I think to myself, we should do it in a game jam.
There we go. Next game jam. Flesh it out.
I'm
Make it happen.
being harassed by other people to do other things, and I also have as an engine thing that
The grass isn't always greener on the other side, right?
No, I know.
You know.
So, if you were not designing, developing games, what do you think you'd be doing, like as a career? Swinging swords, smithing swords?
I don't think those. Well, I'd be lucky if I got to do those things. I think the earliest. So I have like a couple of memories of saying like I want to be this when I'm older.
Okay.
When I was like a teen.
Yeah.
Or like mid-teens. I always said I wanted to be an engineer because I thought it sounded sensible, made money. And, you know, I didn't mind physics. There's another moment later on where it's like the moment I finally realized I think I actually do just want to be a game designer. And there's a slightly later point in time where I go, not only do I think I want to do this, but actually I want to go all in on it. And I like want to, you know, not say like, oh, it'd be nice if I got to do this, but like really try and make it reality.
Sure.
But the earliest memory I have is of getting off of a bus on the bridge, like the stop beneath the bridge on Caledonian Road, and my mother asking me, what do you want to be when you're older? And saying, I want to be a fireman.
Okay. Very cool.
That was it. I was
Fireman
just
rights.
obsessed with firemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I might get the chance soon.
Really?
Yeah, there's a fire brigade close to where I live, and apparently they're looking for reservists.
There are lots of them looking for on-call parts.
They're never going to do that. He's never, ever going to do that. He's going to continue to do game design because that's what he does. He's going to continue to do weird podcast appearances and talk like a weirdo. He's not going to do any firefighting. Not in a million years. Never. Like, literally never.
Time.
Yeah.
Fireman.
Exactly.
You're so full of
I've been
shit.
thinking to myself, when things settle down, maybe I should. Okay, because I
Give it a
could
go.
fulfill 2 childhood dreams: making video
That's
games
insane.
and being a fireman.
Yeah.
That would be so sick.
That's very cool. Yeah, I think you should. Earlier this year, I was looking into joining,
Oh yeah.
because the games industry is so dire genuinely at the moment. We're very lucky at Jagex. Like we're hiring, we're doing really well. And I was just feeling really pessimistic about everything. I was like, there are always going to be fires, right?
Yeah.
I could go and do that, but you need to prove you have GCSEs. And I'm like, where the hell are my GCSE certificates? I don't know where they are.
Oh, they're
And
in a
then-
folder in my drawer.
You got to, you still have them.
I
Okay,
still
cool.
have them. Yeah.
You got to contact like the
What the
exam.
hell? I don't know what that is. It's some weird British thing that we fought to not have, probably.
examination,
Yeah.
whichever board it was with, and I was
Right.
like, I don't know who they were with, and then you can send in queries. We're like, hey, I think I might have done some exams with you. Can you send me the qualification? And they cost like 50 quid each.
Do you know what? Actually, thinking about it now, so far into life, it would be a pain in the ass because I did mine.
It is.
I re-got mine sent to me when I was like early 20s because I needed it for a job I was going into as well. Similar situation, but like I still had my used to get like printed out versions that weren't the certificate, but it showed you what your grades were and it told me what the exam body was. So I just did that.
Okay.
And that helped. But yeah, I've kept them in a folder, in a binder, in plastic wallets since because I never want to have to go and get those again.
But assuming you have them, I think you should do
Well,
it. That's very cool.
Unfortunately, that's kind of bad news for me because I went to a Spanish school in London,
okay.
and so I went through the Spanish system. So I don't have GCSEs. I have an equivalent. Hopefully, they'll take that.
Oh, I'm sure
but-
they'll take that.
Yeah.
Diploma?
Well, I do have the equivalent stuff.
There you go.
Yeah. So
GCS's
hopefully
diploma?
it becomes a reality.
I want to ask a question because I would normally ask that question. I'm glad Sweetin asked it. 'Cause
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It gives me the opportunity to ask this one now. And it's a bit of a weird one, okay?
Okay.
But from all of your experience and knowledge and understanding of the fantasy world, if you could choose a new life to live in a fantasy setting, what kind of life would...
I don't care. Again, if they're not going to talk game design, I'm not going to
They hold it
listen.
in one hand though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
maybe
they're massive. You're not a troll, are you?
Yeah. Maybe something like that.
Yeah. Well,
Most things with good reach are. but yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
I like the ask a story in the subreddit, and when you
Yeah.
get people asking about weapons, and you have the person who's like, oh, well,
No,
I
I'm
wrote-
bringing up Reddit.
Well, in
Like,
Dark
what do we have?
Souls,
What's
this weapon
happening?
is really fast.
Dark Souls.
Figure out like, oh, actually, I really want to make the most of
Maybe
life.
that's where I'm going wrong.
Yeah, you need to have.
And like £2,000 on stuff. But
So are they like done?
Yeah.
Are they like done
Oh,
talking about
um,
RuneScape and
you
they're
don't wanna
just...
be at the detriment of your own well-being.
Yeah.
So as soon as like, it's
Yeah, they're
it's
just
okay
talking
when you're
about
hungry,
like
that's fine.
mental
But
health
when
and shit.
When you're like fatigued all day long, don't do that. Eat a bit more.
I mean, I'm doing it for the first time.
Anyway, the existential crisis begins.
Exploring diverse fantasy and postal
Stuff like that. That's
What do you?
But I'm fine.
Yeah, so there's no more actual.
signal questions about fantasy. It's probably a good time for us to consider wrapping up the podcast for now.
I think so, but I'd love to have you back. Maybe once we've announced a lot of the stuff to do with Raids 4, that would be a really good time to do it,
Yeah.
and we can get into that.
So I'd love to be back. This was.
So
loads
they
of
literally
fun, and I'd love to be able
did
to
not talk
more
about
fully
Raids 4 like
Sweet.
at all.
Let's do it then.
I want to
Like, not at all.
through looking out the window when it comes
Like,
to Raids.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say I am working on it? Yes, but that's it. Now go on our podcast that we run.
Hopefully, I haven't forgotten that trick because that's.
I'm
one
not
of
gonna.
the-
I'm genuinely gonna try it. Not tonight. I've got plans for this evening, but tomorrow, I'm looking out that. Actually, I can't. I've got. Never mind. Friday, I'm looking
God,
out
life.
the window. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too much time to even look out
Sometimes
the
you need
window.
to stop, Ben, and look out the window.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, thank you so much again for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
I've loved this, thank
Hopefully,
you.
yeah,
Thank
I've
you
really
for having
enjoyed
me.
it as well. Hopefully, those listening have enjoyed it too. If you have, let us know. And I guess until next time, we'll see you in the next.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really talk about very much. They talked about drop tables and dry protection. That was probably, the only, that 3-minute section was the most informative and like pertaining to the game. And then they talked about the economy a little bit for like 10 minutes. So they spent like 15 minutes talking about RuneScape. And then this was about him. That was about him. Core DNA, there was a little bit there. This is all about him. There's a little bit here. Like, most of this was about, like, them or their experiences, right? It wasn't about the game. So, I'll still give it a like. I don't really... I don't really know about that guy. It's kind of weird. What else we got going? What else? It's like, let's just type in OSRS into YouTube and see what else dropped. Behemoth. Yeah, Raids 4 is coming. He's probably not going to say anything that, Theater of Blood too. I don't really think that there's anything there. New Savix video. I'll never top this week in the Edgeville dungeon. Yeah, I actually haven't watched a lot of Frame. Well, you guys, I think... Let's see, where are we at? Yeah, two and a half hours. It's 4 o'clock. No, it's 3:37. I think I'm gonna end stream there. Do a couple of things behind the scenes to get this running smoother and figure out how to like effectively make content out of what I'm doing. And then probably practice a little bit of music, and then I've got a dinner planned tonight. So I'm gonna end a little sooner than I normally would. I appreciate you guys. Looks like we had 36 people come in the stream today. There's one person still here. Thanks for coming by. I hope you had a good time. Still getting to learn like how I want to do this. Trying to get more into content creation and see where it fits, like, you know, live streaming, reacting to content, actually like gaming, because I do want to have streams where like we game and actually like I want to do Dragon Slayer 2, and there's quite a few quests that I could stream and that could be fun, but I'm still getting to know this, and so I also do want to do more like reacting content and political stuff, so it's good to practice. Thanks, guys, for coming. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. I will probably stream tomorrow, but it will probably be a little later in the day. I'll have a schedule up soon, but right now I'm just winging it. Hope you guys have a good one, and